I have to take glasses off. Always have to take the glasses off. Hello everyone, I hope you can hear me. This is Bea, the storyteller here, and I am on the Rogue Gallery Facebook page to talk to you about the Autumn Equinox and tell you stories about it. Well, how do stories start and why the Autumn Equinox? Do you remember? No, you don't really want to remember the 21st of March 2020 when we were just getting used to, well, to dark days? Yes, I know. And that is the problem I have this year. This is kind of where I wanted to go with this story, is that this story of this year is not the traditional story of we are walking from the light into the darkness at the autumn equinox. The story of this year is, well, it's been pretty dark, hasn't it? The truth of the matter is. And I thought we'd kind of spend a few moments, tell you what I do and how I do it. And the way I do it is I watch what goes on. You know, the stories that we tell each other, the stories that we tell ourselves. And normally at this time of year, I would be looking at the harvest of this summer and how all the wonderful things have happened, the gigs I've been to, the festivals I've been to, the places I've spoken at, like the Magical Women Conference in London or the Lorient Inter-Celtic Festival. And I would be kind of harvesting all that for my winter nourishment. And this year there's really nothing, because nothing has happened very much. I mean, I've been very lucky to be offered a place as artist in residence at the Rogue Gallery, which is kind of like the highlight of my work this year. And so I've been thinking about, well, what do we do then? We're just stumbling from dark to dark? Or are we going to try to think of darkness in another way? So if we do that, how does it change things? And I've been watching trees, and I don't know if you've noticed, but the trees are beginning to shed their leaves, and I'm thinking, why do they do that? They do that because then they don't have to grow their leaves anymore, because this winter nothing grows, because the energy goes downwards. So the old oak in the forest I talked to, I went to her and I said, well, what do I do? I'm stumbling from dark to dark. Give me a candle. And she said, no. What you do is you go inside and you grow your roots. And I said, well, how do you do that? She said, well, come in. And I went inside the oak and I walked. There's a staircase inside my oak, and I went down and down and down and down. And oh my God, as I was going down, it got warmer. And it was busy. It was really busy out there because there was loads of roots. But you see, I always thought that roots were big, strong things that I see on the top of the forest floor. But the ones that were really busy was the tiny ones, the root filaments. And they were kind of stretching around everywhere. And I realized that the leaves have to fall. You see, because the leaves nourish the ground, and that nourishes the roots. And as they're walking down in this warm, muggy, sort of smelling of beautiful compost, if you've ever smelled beautiful compost, I'm a bit of a fan of compost, and I was smelling this and it felt safe. Oh yeah, it was dark, there's no doubt about it, but it was a darkness that was productive. It wasn't a darkness that was from the outside in. It wasn't the darkness that was made of fear. It was the darkness that was made of rich, nourishing soil. The darkness in which seeds germinate. And I thought, what if I could recreate that darkness for my roots? My inner roots, you know, the things that keep me going. And we've been talking a lot at the Rogue at the moment about mental health, because we're applying for some funding. And what is mental health? And is there going to be a mental health crisis? Well, yes and no, because if we have the roots to survive this winter, we can grow our leaves next autumn. And many messages around at the moment saying, which leaves are you jettisoning? Which leaves are you shedding this year at the autumn equinox? Which leaves? I would like you to show me a tree, a decidual tree, that doesn't shed all its leaves. Trees don't go about the place going, oh, I'll have this one, and then that one, and then that one. Oh, I don't want that one. Oh, yes, I'll keep that one. No, they just have to shed the leaves. So my question today is, are you prepared to shed your leaves so that they grow the soil, so that your roots can grow? And how are you going to grow your roots? What are your roots? What does make you feel solid? What links you to reality, your reality, not the external reality, not the stories that are beavering away outside, not all the contradictions and the fear-mongering and the bad news and the... No. What keeps you rooted? And I said to the oak, well, what does keep you rooted? And the oak seemed to shrug her shoulders. She said, oh, I don't know. I quite like winter. I don't have to do anything. I don't have to grow anything apart from my roots. I can just sit there and mull and wonder and ponder and rest and sleep. And I thought the hedgehogs, I've already got a couple of hedgehogs on my land. They've gone to bed. They've sort of surrounded themselves with all the leaves, because I do leave a lot of branches and leaves for them to snuggle up. And you know what? They've already gone to sleep. And imagine, okay, so we're being told you mustn't meet other people, you mustn't do this, you mustn't do that, don't go out. And it's like, oh, that's grand, because it's winter. I don't want to go out. This time, I can just enjoy the darkness and grow my roots. So if you want to play along with my story about my oak that I talked to in the forest, well, I would love to know, how are you going to grow your roots? What are you looking forward to? This lovely, rich darkness. Me, I've got a thing this year. I want to use candlelight more. Because I reckon that if I spend more of my time in candlelight, I possibly will go blind, but I will also only be able to see what's around me, as in immediately around me. And maybe I'll stop worrying myself stupid about what's happening in other places. And I will concentrate on what makes my heart sing and on what makes my roots grow. And at the moment, well, there's two things I really want to do, and I shall share them with you. Watch this space. One is I really want to learn. I've done a lot of yoga, and that's been my sanity for the last 6 months. But I want to deepen my knowledge of yoga, and I want to do restorative yoga, whatever that is. I'm really tempted by that. And also I want to learn Fair Isle knitting. Fair Isle knitting. That's the complex, very complex knitting using different colours and different patterns from the Shetland Islands in Scotland, and I'm sure there's an Irish equivalent. So what are you going to do? How are you going to grow your roots? And celebrate the autumn equinox, because soon you will really enjoy wearing a face covering, as they call it, because it will keep you warm. Soon you will enjoy wearing big scarves around your face, because it will keep you warm, and be okay. And soon it'll be perfectly fine not to go out. With a bit of luck, we'll have lots of snow. So happy autumn equinox. And hopefully I might see you at Samhain, which is 31st of October or thereabouts, because I thought we might spend some time together and I could tell you some really scary stories. Meanwhile, if you know a forest, maybe you could go and have a little look at it and see whether you find your own oak or your own ash or your beech or whichever tree takes your fancy, and see what they've got to say about the autumn equinox. Thank you for being here. Blessed be.